All four are gathering points for the PPG Cup. But in a day of controversy 2 weeks ago at Detroit, that picture changed. Emerson Fittipaldi jumped the start and was penalized. Then he crashed and ended his run under the tires. Emo's Penske teammate Paul Tracy was also black flagged and lost his bid at another win. Nigel Mansell's day was filled with confrontation. First in a heated fight with Stefan Johansson, where the Swede was the loser. Then Nigel got into the gray and bit the wall. All of that left the fight to teammates Danny Sullivan and Al Unser Jr. The last time these two met was a year ago. Fighting for the lead, they touched. Jr. spun and Danny won. It happened again at Detroit as Al tried to push past. He hit some cones and was black flagged as a result.
How can you do for knocking down a cone?
The fight was over, and Danny Sullivan tasted victory for the first time in over a year, and another team had joined the fight. Now the Indy cars are at Portland International. 2 years ago, Michael Andretti jumped from the second row to take the lead on the start. Last year, it was a slight error here that nearly cost Bobby Rahal the IndyCar championship, as Michael took the race win in their season-long points battle. Portland is a pivot point in the championship fight. Any of these four men can leave here today with the points lead. But the front four will face two challenges: the track and 25 other skilled IndyCar drivers. With Mount Hood providing the backdrop, today it's the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200. Welcome to Portland International Raceway, a beautiful natural terrain road course right on the edge of the Columbia River. I'm Paul Page, and this is ESPN's first coverage of the Indy cars for 1993. Our coverage will carry you right through the final race of the season, and the IndyCar champion will be crowned right here on ESPN. And who might that be? Well, best guess would be it should be Nigel Mansell. He is the points leader. He has been the points leader since the very first qualifying session this season. And since he is a road course master and we are in the midpoint of a series of road course runs, one would presume this is a time that he ought to lengthen his lead. But that's not happening. He didn't finish at Detroit and allowed Raul Boesel to close to within 3 points of him. So Nigel Mansell, if he is going to be a champion in his rookie year, has a great deal ahead of him. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Well, Paul, despite that disappointment at Detroit, it has been a sensational season, and for the fourth time now, he starts from the pole position. The third time this year, he has Emerson Fittipaldi right alongside. And at Detroit, there was controversy about this start. Now, Nigel is strapped in, awaiting the command to start engines. Nigel, any concerns, any apprehensions about this start with your good friend Emerson alongside today?
No, not really. As far as I'm concerned, if everybody is professional, and as they should be, the pole man sets the pace, and then when we come up to the start, we start racing. The only problem that's happened on a few starts is that people start racing before the start and finish line. And the rule book is very clear on this.
So Nigel is the man who will set the pace from the pole. He knows it. He will be in command. Now let's check back another row here on the starting grid as we go to our colleague Jan Beekes.
Well, Gary, right behind you and right behind Nigel is Stefan Johansson in the third position. And Tony Bentonhausen's crew is excited because they've split the factory Penske effort. Now, Stefan, you're also quickest this morning in this morning's warm-up, the fastest ever in a session for a Bentonhausen car. It's got to give you confidence.
Yeah, the car was running real good this morning. We had full tanks. It was a pretty accurate indication, I think. Now, of course, the weather is a lot hotter, so the setup may not be exactly the same, but I think we got a pretty good setup anyway.
Stefan Johansson standing by and looking for that first IndyCar victory. Paul?
So just some of the great stories that we have here for our first ESPN broadcast of the IndyCars this season. We're moving down toward the start of the engines. Coverage of the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 is brought to you today by PPG, world leaders in automotive finishes. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Back in Portland, the Indy cars are in position as the clock counts down to the start of the engines. Now, 2 weeks ago at Detroit, there were a number of controversial calls that have been discussed every moment since then, Derek Daly.
That's right. We are currently enjoying one of the best seasons of IndyCar racing for many years, but the controversy at Detroit did cause a bit of an uproar. Now, Al Jr.'s penalty when he hit the cones, he knew about that, so we have to say that was probably warranted. But the start line incident, when Emerson was judged to have gone ahead of Nigel Mansell at the start, Detroit, he brought it right to the letter of the law and told the drivers he would do that. Now, consider this. If he's totally inflexible in future, the pole man could actually come off the power at a critical time and cause the outside front row man to be ahead of him, and he knows he will get his opposition to get a black flag and go to the back of the grid. But consider this also. What if Wally was actually flexible? Now Emerson might have got away with Detroit, what he did, or else he would have drawn a yellow flag. Now he's got a full lap under yellow, running solely, conserving fuel. And fuel is a major issue here at a race at Portland. Well, another headache that Wally Dallenbach may have, and it's raising its head, it's blocking. Now, what is blocking? It's not defined in the rule book. Is blocking good defensive driving, or is it bad defensive driving? We saw some track movements with Nigel Mansell and Stefan Johansson at Detroit, where Nigel clearly moved to hold Stefan back. Now, if you make a mistake or miss a gear, should you be allowed change your line dramatically to stop a pass? Well, that is one of the issues that Wally Dallenbach dealt with this morning in the drivers' meeting.
Apparently an extensive conversation on both the starts and blocking. So when Chief Steward Wally Dallenbach came out of the meeting, we asked him what the discussion was.
Well, it was discussed at the drivers' meeting that blocking is a concern of the drivers, and there's a thin line between defending your line and blocking. And it was pretty much agreed that defending your line is a situation, whereas if you're going into a right turn and you go to the right to protect your turn, you know, that's fair. If it becomes a situation where you do that and then go back to the left, that's the second act. It's the second and third acts is what we're going to watch today. If this occurs, the driver will receive a rolled black flag pointed to him that he's on call. He's going to be watched. If it persists, the black flag will be used, and he'll receive a black flag for a stop-and-go penalty, which will put him out of sequence with that situation.
Of course, Wally Dallenbach, a former IndyCar driver of great competence. That was not the only discussion that was held. Jan Beekes, they also talked a lot about the starting procedure.
That's right, Paul, and there has not been a rule change, but there's been a responsibility change. And that is that now the rules say, as they always have, that the pole sitter should cross the start line first. That has not changed. What has changed, the responsibility is no longer the chief steward's, it is the starter. So as the starter sees them come to the line, if he throws the green flag, it is a start. There will be no penalties. So everyone will be jockeying for position. If they see a green, they know they got away with it.
So the Indy cars now sitting ready with some controversy still lingering and much to be discussed throughout the afternoon here in Portland.
Drivers, start your engines.
Just down on the other side of the can.
All right.
So the drivers now in their cars, engines started, and we are very close to the start here at Portland. 3 laps behind the PPG pace cars, and then we'll see a green flag. So we're set and ready to go. Nigel Mansell sits in his cockpit, the view from alongside a new view from Scott Brayton's car. The view back from Nigel, and the field is set. Looking off the nose of Bobby Rahall's car. There's the front row. Nigel Mansell and Emerson Fittipaldi will give you the full rundown of the starting grid in just a moment as we're prepared to race the Indy cars at Portland. In the years the Indy cars have been coming here to Portland, we've watched so much growth in the downtown area, especially along the river. Many of us went down last night and spent a beautiful time in downtown Portland. So now, let's take a look at how the cars are ready to line up for the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200. 29 cars here, and here is a look at the starting grid. On the pole, it's Nigel Mansell, the 4th pole of the season for the PPG points leader, alongside Emerson Fittipaldi, the winner of last month's Indianapolis 500. In row 2 to the inside is Stefan Johansson, the best start ever for the sophomore from Sweden. And Paul Tracy is alongside the winner at Long Beach in April. In the 3rd row, Mario Andretti, a back-to-back winner here in 85 and 86. And Mark Smith, an astonishing qualifying run for the Oregon native. In the 4th row, it's Teo Fabi, who has never run worse than 7th here at Portland. And Danny Sullivan, the winner of that thriller in Detroit 2 weeks ago. In row 5, it's Al Unser Jr. His first career win came here in 1984. And Robbie Gordon, who ran 3rd in the season opener at Australia. The 6th row is Raul Boisel, has 3 runner-up efforts this season. And Mike Groff, who out-qualified his boss, Bobby Rahal. In the 7th row, Willie T. Ribbs, who had a strong run 2 weeks ago in Detroit. And Ari Leyendijk, who finished 2nd here in 88. In the 8th row, it's Bobby Rahal and Scott Goodyear. Row 9, Roberto Guerrero and Brian Till. In row number 10, Scott Brayton and Hiro Matsushita. Row 11, Olivier Briard.